Benjamin Franklin once said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." A pleasant day to you. I am Dean Santos, one of the co-authors of this study entitled Beyond Myself, a phenomenological study of the financing decision deeds of overseas Filipino workers in Qatar. This study was conducted and completed in Philippine School Doha, located in Doha, Qatar. The following are my fellow research committee and our research advisor, Dr. Don Vallesteros. For our central question, how do the OFWs in Qatar make decisions about investments? Following this is our specific question that states, what are the common investment decision behaviors of OFWs in Qatar? Now, to guide this research presentation, we have prepared a set of questions that will give you an overview of our study, from our background to the methodology and to our findings. Together, these questions will provide you greater insights for what it means to invest. In the first place, what does it mean to invest? Well, to invest means to put a certain amount of money into an asset in hopes of gaining future returns. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever dreamt of owning a house? Maybe being part of a company or being an entrepreneur? How about living your dream lifestyle with your family and friends? Have you ever wanted to be financially stable and prepared for your future? Nowadays, the global economies are constantly growing. Due to this, people partake in investments to try to take advantage of the situation to attain their goals. However, making good financial decisions isn't as easy as it sounds. This is due to the volatility of the financial markets. Based on this study, we learn and see the processes and mindsets that Filipino investors maintain in order to come up with a decision with regards to their external and internal factors. We asked ourselves, what else could constitute an investment decision other than risks and returns? Thus, this paper was created with the aim of unveiling the investment decisions of OFW investors in Qatar. Now for the methodology. This study is qualitative in nature that follows the phenomenological approach. This is necessary to gain participants' experience and life histories. In addition, the purposive sampling method was employed to gather these participants. For our data collection, we utilized three main tools. The first being the consent form, second, the robo-photo that shows the demographics of our participants, and lastly, a semi-structured interview which was composed of 25 questions. During the interview proper, voice recordings were utilized for data analysis, and now we will talk about that. For data analysis, we followed 6 main steps. First, the recorded responses were transcribed into written text. Then these written responses were then read and analyzed. Afterwards, the responses were converted from emit to etic. Then a thought unit was created for each response. Then through these thought units, the responses were organized into groups and themes using a dendrogram. Finally, a simulacrum was made. Now on screen, you can see our simulacrum. In the center, you can see a symbolic dove that represents the Filipino investors and the financial freedom that they have. Now, as you can see, it is composed of 2 parts, the blue side and the red side. The blue side represents the male population, while the red one represents the female. Looking closer into this symbolic dove, we can see that there are mechanical gears inside. This represents the different processes and analysis that they partake in order to come up with their financial decisions. Moving outwards, we can see maroon-colored ribbons surrounding this symbolic dove. This represents Qatar, and the symbolic dove over it shows that they invest in Philippine financial markets while residing in Qatar. Now moving towards the upper right, we can see that there are hands reaching out towards these financial decisions. These are the people who are guided and aided through financial literacy and financial aid by these investors. And moving out once more, we can see a giant mechanical cog. This shows and represents the job of these investors. It is held by 4 blue-colored hands that represents each theme, which we'll delve into right now. For our first theme, we have financial assurance. This is the set of information that increases the certainty of an investor. In this theme, we found out that investors always remain calm when making investment decisions. And it is also found out that there are 2 different types of analysis that are being utilized. This is the technical analysis and the fundamental analysis. For the technical analysis, it shows the investment's price history through charts. and the fundamental analysis shows the financial statements and the news surrounding the investment. Other than analysis, it is found that investors aren't all the same. Investors can be classified into different subclasses based on their risk appetite. First being the conservative, investors with a low risk appetite. Next is aggressive, those with high risk appetite, and the in-betweener, the conservative aggressive. In order to make an investment decision, they conduct their own analysis and confirm this to their preferred type of investment. Another factor that helps them assure their decision is guidance and direction from their peers. The next theme is financial challenges. All of the participants agreed that there are restrictions when it comes to living in Qatar while investing in Philippine markets. This is evidenced by time difference and accessibility. Since Philippines is in another time zone, the opening and closing of the markets is different compared to that of Qatar's. Investors must adjust themselves in order to cope with the diverse time scheduling to invest. The feeling of uneasiness is common among investors that own property investments. They are unable to physically monitor and manage their properties. They still feel worried even if they assign other people to watch over. The findings of this study also revealed that not only external factors make it difficult to invest, but the individual investors themselves. Attitudes and emotions play a big role when it comes to decision making. Our third theme is financial rationality. Now, to be rational is to make decisions that are based on reason and logic. Decisions not based on this, but rather emotion, create unprofitable, impulsive trading decisions that result in future consequences. Impulsive investing behavior is affected by external factors such as negative economic events and false suggestions. Some investors resort to herding or imitation of others. However, for the OFW investors, they still undergo the process of validation when facing these events or false suggestions. Now, to mitigate these negative effects, individual investors undergo their own personal assessment, validation, and confirmation processes to avoid impulsive decisions. Filipino investors in Qatar are dubious in nature, and no matter how credible their source of information is, they would still undergo a validation process before taking any actions towards investing. And for our last theme, financial drive. Motivation stems from their goals and the investing community they converse with. They become inspired to invest to reach these goals, and when they are surrounded by others who are interested in investing as well. For investors, even after reaching their goals, their journey doesn't end. Their goals only acclimate to higher levels. They have also developed a sense of responsibility to help others. They continue to invest in order to accommodate more people through financial literacy and financial aids. In conclusion, investing is a complex process. Investors create guidelines and conduct analysis to assure that their investments are aligned with their goals. Investors are faced with external and internal uncertainties. Therefore, the investor must adjust and cope with the situation at hand. Financial decisions get influenced by cognitive and emotional biases. To avoid impulsive financial decisions, investors must undergo assessment, validation, and confirmation processes. And lastly, investing is a means to growth. It has become a way for reaching both financial goals and social goals. Now, remember this. Your greatest asset is time. Take one step to a never-ending journey of discipline and growth. Remember, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. I wish you all financial freedom. Thank you all for tuning in.